Good afternoon, everybody. On this Thursday, February 13th, 2025, I've got all of your entertainment, pop culture news in one place for your rush hour ride home. Today's episode of The Rush, we've got Bill Burr calling out the billionaires, which we love to see, and an NFL player defends Taylor Swift, says quit booing her. She's good for football. And speaking of football, the Bengals burglary, we've got some more updates on the trio that seemingly robbed Joe Burrow's. And we've got Blake Lively poisoning the Gossip Girl crew against Penn Bagley. Not just that, other interviews that are being exposed that she gave, sort of continuing to share her game plan and what she really thinks. Also, we'll cover Haley Welch, an update on the crypto scammer, the Talk to a crypto scam, and how that relates to the Trump crypto scam, as it's been revealed that 800,000 people lost money on the Trump coin. Were you one of them? I know people aren't going to want to admit this, but a lot of money was made and it wasn't to you or me. And then we'll also talk a few other stories going on in the political world. All right, I got all of that and so much more. It's all coming up right now on The Rush. Well, who has plans to go to the World Cup 2034? Maybe that's too far down the road for you, but it will be in Saudi Arabia. And now we're finding out it will not involve any alcohol.
After you leave, you're welcome to, but at the moment we don't have alcohol inside.
When you say, you mean you have to go to a hotel?
Presumably? No. There's no alcohol at all.
So there's no alcohol. So the entire experience of the Saudi World Cup, from the moment you get off the plane, in your hotel, in the stadium, in the restaurants, in the coffee shops, will be alcohol-free.
I love the British guy. He's like, so no pubs. He's like, so then where do you drink your alcohol? Back in the hotel? The guy's like, you don't get it. We don't drink alcohol.
Rather like our weather, it's a dry country.
Is that welcoming?
No, it's, everyone has their own culture. And we're happy to accommodate people within the boundaries of our culture, but
which means no drinking and no gays. I mean, look, it's illegal to be in a same-sex relationship in Saudi. Is this Saudi Arabia? Is that what we're talking about here? They'll have the 2034 World Cup there, and it'll be alcohol-free. And, there's some Muslim countries that don't drink alcohol, but they also turn a blind eye towards it. I was in Qatar and also in the Maldives, both countries that I believe it is illegal. And in both countries, although Qatar might, I don't remember if we tried to drink there, but either way, the point is, look, I mean, it's tough because you want to respect other people's cultures, but not when it infringes on what I think we consider human rights, which is if you decide to hold hands with someone of the same sex. I mean, you would think we're sort of above that as people to care what someone else does with their body, but these are their rules.
Sure, but we don't want to change our culture for someone else.
Okay.
Really, you can't live without a drink?
Wow, you can't live without a drink? I mean, look, yeah, don't change your culture for us, but I'm just telling my friends out there, maybe don't log on to Grindr. Not in Saudi Arabia, at least. All right, Saquon Barkley says, stop booing Taylor Swift. Let's go to what he said. Of course, this following the Super Bowl, she was booed for who knows which reasons, because she doesn't like Trump or because she's dating a Chiefs player. Either way, here's what he had to say to Howard Stern.
From where you're sitting, do you think Travis Kelce's going to marry Taylor Swift, or what do you think? What's going to happen there?
Hey, I have no idea. I will say this, though. They showed her on the Jumbotron, and she got booed. I don't get it. I don't get why she was getting hate there.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah, she's just there supporting her significant other, and she's made the game bigger. We're all about how can we expand the game and make it more internationally, and we're traveling to Brazil, and we're traveling to Mexico, and her being a part of it is only helping that. So I don't get the slack that she's getting. But yeah, I can't give you an answer.
It's a game. Lighten up a little bit,
Now, the reason she was booed isn't because she's making the game bigger. She's booed because she's wealthy and people suck. That's people can suck, and they go, boo, she sucks. You would die if you met her. You would cower and you would be, oh, hello, Taylor. You know what I mean? So it's like, can it? Everyone who booed her, take it back. And by the way, you might say, no, we don't like her because of this or that. Okay, I mean, I think she's trying her best. How would you handle being a pop star? You get stressed out the day before your taxes are due. You couldn't be a pop star. Joe Burrow's burglary. Suspects hit with more charges and new jewelry picks. So you guys might remember they pulled these folks over and saw that they were, I believe, and I don't want to get this wrong, were they Venezuelan nationalists? I want to make sure I don't have this wrong. Either way, Hamilton County prosecutor Connie Pillich said Jordan Sanchez, Bastian Morales, and Sergio Cabello were indicted on first-degree felony engaging in a pattern of corrupt activity and second-degree felony burglary charges. A fourth individual spotted alongside the suspects with the alleged stolen stuff was not charged. So they could not tie him to being at Burrow's home during the burglary, but, they were Chilean nationals, and they were already in trouble with the feds. But again, they, I guess, allegedly broke into his home. And yeah, Joe Burrow, it looks like, I mean, listen, if you're going to steal jewelry, try not to steal jewelry with the guy's initials on it. You know what I mean? Just leave that at the home. So there's your update, and good on Joe Burrow, I guess, for seeking justice here. There he is. I mean, it's like the guy gets robbed while he's out playing football. That's not fun. All right. Well, boy, oh boy, we have a Haley Welch update. She did a podcast. I thought it was AI, to be quite honest, when I first shared it, because it was very bizarre. It was like a very low quality clip, but it was leaked online. Some say by the editor, some say by her team. Who really knows? Either way, she admits to being a part of the crypto scam, but feels bad as it's being investigated because she had no idea how illegal it was.
She highlights how there is a lawsuit against her former business partners, and she's actually cooperating with lawyers to support them in pursuing the case. So the podcast itself was meant to be not aired yet, and Haley and her team had agreed with Banks that they wouldn't put anything out until he gave sign-off. But I guess word got out that there was something that was going to be promoted around it, or a podcast covering it. And that started impacting the price of the Hawk Tour token. Banks actually then withdrew his approval of the podcast.
All right, so just such a mess. They record this podcast. She goes dark for 2 months. She has no idea what to do. I say go out there and just start talking. Tell people, were you duped? Share the contracts. People think she was in on the scam. I've said this all along. I think Haley Welch is just not that smart of an individual, and she was suckered. People don't know what's going on with Bitcoin. The average person has no idea about cryptocurrency, and that's what makes it easier to scam them. Now, what I have to say next might piss people off, but people got scammed by Donald Trump, okay? That's how it works. He created a Bitcoin 2 days before he became the president? Trump made millions of dollars on meme coin. Over 800,000 people lost money. What that means is whoever signed up for the coin early on, which would have been insider trading, people that knew the coin was coming out. In one case, there was someone who bought $1 million worth it and then ended up making 80 million. So a lot of this is dark money. You don't know where it is, but you can see the transactions. Trump's or whoever's in charge of this coin, which he approved of, made $100 million just on the transaction fees, let alone however much money they would have made if you got in early. The $ Trump, which is the name of the coin, leads to $2 billion in losses for 810,000 investors. Trump's crypto ventures have raised ethical concerns. The president's involvement in the shady crypto scheme, says an ex-crypto advisor. Why is this normal? Why do we live, and again, people will say, well, what about Hillary's emails? Well, but Joe Biden pardoned his son. It's you guys got ripped off. Almost 1 million people in our country, or wherever they were from investors. 800,000, which would have been, take however many people went to the Super Bowl and times that by 10. That many people lost money. They put in $1 and then the coin crashed and then they only made 32 cents or whatever the case may be. Some people bet their grandfather's life savings and were completely wiped out. We saw one guy lose $300,000 overnight, just like that. So I'm befuddled as to how far people will let scams like this go without calling it what it is. It's a crypto scam. 800,000 of you got scammed by the president. And if any of you personally invested money and want to call in, shoot me an email. I'd love to hear your story. Did anybody make money? How about that? Did anybody invest and make $1 or any good situations come from this? All I've been saying is this. I want to live in a world where we hold the billionaires accountable that are overtaking our government, where we lower the price of goods, get rid of shrinkflation and all the corporate greed, lower inflation, make it easier to buy your first home, have early childhood education taken care of, and make it so that moms can stay at their homes longer with their kids after giving birth, and hey, maybe dads too. I want to live in a world where we give back to each other. And I don't think that's that rare. Coming up next, Bill Burr is going to tell you his thoughts.
Because of these billionaires. And they got us all arguing liberal and conservative. We got to stop doing that. Like, I am so tired of hearing about people going to bed worried about what's going to happen next week. There is so much fucking money in this country. And there's so much work being done, you know. And if you work a full fucking week at a job, you should be able to pay your fucking rent. You shouldn't have to go out and get a fucking job and still be struggling. It's bad for the country because then the kids don't see their parents and they're not getting the upbringing that they need. It's so fucking, these fucking billionaires, they need to be put down.
Whoa.
You know, like fucking rabid dogs. They're like rabid with fucking greed. And just going out and just dividing everybody.
Yeah, and you know what? It's actually getting worse, right? The new tax plan would add $4 trillion with a T. Trillion. You know how much a trillion is? It's 1,000 billions. A billion is 1,000 millions. Do you understand how much money that is? The new tax cuts would add $4 trillion to the debt. And you would also be cutting out Medicare, SNAP. These are food programs for low-income people. It's absolutely, I mean, this used to be, like, when I say used to, I mean a couple years ago. It used to be that if you even mentioned this, you're out of the race. If you even mentioned wanting, I mean, there is nothing more popular in our country than Social Security and Medicare. Everybody can agree that this, like, social program is so helpful. And they're cutting the taxes on the ultra wealthy and also robbing us of these social safety nets. And this is what they want to do. And it's just going to add more debt. So again, there's nothing good. There's nothing good coming of it. So we'll continue to talk about it, but let's go to Blake Lively. Let's do a little palate cleanser and just go back to Blake Lively. Oh, we can't handle what's really happening in life. Let's take it out on Blake. I don't mean that literally, but here she was in a interview that just resurfaced talking about how she can be cruel at home. She was obviously saying this in jest, but have a listen.
How was it preparing for such a sinister role?
Oh, I don't think she's sinister. I mean, every villain is the hero of their own story, right? So I think she's fabulous, and I totally understand why she does what she does. But you know, it's kind of nice being the villain.
I hope you're not that cruel to Ryan Reynolds at home.
Wait, what?
I hope you're not that cruel to Ryan Reynolds.
I'm not that cruel? No, I'm not that cruel. Only a little bit.
What was it like working with Anna and kissing Anna?
Working with, no spoilers, sir, come on. Working with Anna was amazing. She's just so good. She's so funny. She's so quick that she just really like ups her game. And this is my first time doing anything that was at all comedic, really. So doing it with her was like, you know, playing tennis for the first time during Wimbledon. It was like, you know, with the best of the best, but it was really cool.
What's your favorite thing about London?
My favorite thing about London, Liberty. Ooh, I should probably say something more like cultured, like the art galleries, which are amazing. The architecture, amazing, but Liberty, damn, you
love
guys
the attire.
All right, so then she moves on and she gets primped up by her makeup person. I thought the interview was fine, but she said she understands the villain. And again, yeah, every villain should have a story arc where they're the victim, right? You know, I mean, most villains aren't like psychopathic. They think they've been wronged. In fact, we saw that in It Ends With Us. The inevitable villain of that learned his lesson, but in his mind, he was the jealous, fragile person, even though he committed some atrocities, right? We'll get into more of that. I'll give a full film review of It Ends With with us if you guys want, but I'm not going to do it right now. All right. Well, here we have the update that you guys wanted to hear. This was tweeted and I was tagged in it. This was, I guess, an old clip. Was this in WikiFeet? Who knows? She's got Roman toes. So here is an old tear sheet from an article where Blake says, "At first, I was so upset that they hired Penn for Gossip Girl, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him." And then there's they also shared a clip from Ryan Reynolds at a different time saying, or this wasn't a clip of Ryan Reynolds, but there was tea on Ryan Reynolds. Due to disagreements with the north of the border actor, this foreign-born actress was pretty much left out of the press and any events for the new installment of this superhero franchise. So it looks like it's in the playbook to get folks removed from the party, the after party, because everyone wants to go to the after party. Here's the real interesting part. This was a clip Citizen journalist posted. The Citizen sleuths don't sleep and we have late night tea. Lively, who has previously refuted reports of discord on the gossip set, tells the magazine that she gets along well with her co-stars. "We hang out after filming. We actually look forward to spending time together outside of work." And again, this is just another example where things Blake said to be funny or just, word vomit are now being used against her. You would have not have thought twice about this if it was just randomly said. That includes her real life leading man, Penn Badgley. So again, this is old because this is when she was dating Penn Badgley, so a long time ago. Although she admits she was unhappy when he was cast on the series. "At first, I was so upset that they hired him. I actually poisoned the whole cast against him. But then they noticed that he wasn't a jerk and was actually a really nice, charming person. Almost immediately, I realized that too, but it took me about a week to admit it." So there she is. She says she got the whole cast to hate Penn Badgley. Now, this must have been early on when they were just starting the show. So very good work by those that were able to dig this up. It's just incredible. Yeah, I mean, wasn't he on the initial pilot episode with everyone else? So maybe Blake was cast on the show like as one of the initial members. But of course, when you're on a show like that with all of the young hormones running around, Leighton Meester, Blake, Penn, all of them, I couldn't imagine a day went by where there wasn't a lot of drama on that show. And also unearthed a Vogue interview. Blake admitted that she's not a fan of starting from scratch. Again, why does all of this matter? Well, to be short, it doesn't matter in the legal sense, but it's just interesting to hear her comments about how her protocol and how she acts on set as this all plays out. So in this article, she says this: "A blank page is not nearly as exciting to me as starting with a script and finding something people have overlooked. Saying, no, there's something there. To me, it's a treasure hunt. And so when I can see the treasure, then I get to be an archaeologist. I get to excavate. I get to carve it out and find this thing and show people the value in it. That to me is what I love." And folks, that's collaboration. That's creative collaboration. I think that's fine. The question is not whether or not she collaborated, it was whether or not she used sexual harassment as a way to gain control of a film and get a crew to hate the director. That's what it's all about. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to share an interview I did with a doctor, a therapist, who specializes in recovering from trauma. This therapist, I'll release it tomorrow. She's been covering the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case. And whether you're listening to the Justin Baldoni case or not, I think it's a good conversation because we talk a lot about the triggers that we have, what can lead a narcissist or someone with toxic personality traits to do what they do. It's a very interesting conversation. I'll have that for you tomorrow, a Valentine's Day special. All right, let's do this. I'm going to take a quick break and we're going to come back with some more news around what the hell's going down in the political landscape. That next. Well, as we reported earlier today, it looks like it's becoming official. The Trump administration was set to purchase $400 million worth of armored Teslas. Now, look, I think Tesla's a pretty good car. You'll have people complain about the build quality. I own a Tesla. I've had it for almost 2 years now. I haven't paid $1 in maintenance. I actually haven't even changed the tires. The thing just runs, knock on wood. But either way, what good does the Trump administration, are they shooting a music video? Why do they need $400 million So they're expected to purchase 400 million worth of armored Tesla vehicles. And by the way, Tesla, though, they do have this like biotech filter. So if there's a biohazard outside, you can hit a button and it's supposed to keep the car insulated. But like, I mean, we'll have to see if that's true. The Tesla chief executive, Elon Musk, is a top White House official who has been leading the Department of Government Efficiency, a unit focused on shrinking the federal workforce and ferreted out corruption. The document does not specify what Tesla vehicles will be purchased by the U.S. officials, but Musk's Cybertruck with its militaristic design and stainless steel exterior could be an option. Now, I've been saying this for a long time, that I think we need to demilitarize the police force. And by that, I mean, have you seen some of these vehicles the police force has? You know, my wife's hometown in this podunk part of Kentucky, the cops all drive these really scary looking trucks. And it's like, what are you guarding from? You know what I mean? Is someone going to break into the local Skyline Chili and steal all of the cheddar cheese? Like, what do you even, you know what I mean? And that's the problem. The pipeline from like the military, like the police system is supposed to be there. Anyway, this is a rant, but the police system is supposed to be there to protect us, not to intimidate us. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I love in Europe, they'll have like these little smart car police officers. And it's like, all right, now you're talking my language. But why is the Trump administration going to buy $400 million worth of armored Tesla vehicles? Will it be for police forces? Will it be for Secret Service? Are they going to line them up across the wall and use that to build the wall? Like, what are they going to use this for? Again, we'll have to see, but doesn't sound like government efficiency if you ask me. Here's an interesting story. Let's end on some fun, right? Everyone, and by the way, when you criticize Trump, people say what? What do they say? They say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. Okay, that's like criticize, you know, it's like, how do you even argue against that? It's like if you call me a mansplainer. Dave, you're just mansplaining. It's like, well, I got a podcast where I explain shit. So yeah, you're not right. I'm mansplaining. But am I deranged that I think it's weird that so much of the focus on what's going on is bizarre things like changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico, wanting to buy Greenland, intimidating Canada, doing tariff war. I mean, do I think that's insane? Well, now CNN obtained audio of Donald Trump calling the new Kennedy Center board of directors. So I guess he fired the leader and he now will be in charge of the Kennedy Center. Do I have that right? Have a listen to this.
It's a very exciting development. It's going to be great. I think we're going to do something very special. It got very wokey, and some people were not happy with it, and some people refused to go, and we're not going to have that. We're going to have something that will be very, very exciting, and we'll do things both physically and in every other way to make the building look even better.
So Donald Trump was elected chair of the Kennedy Center by newly constituted board. So did he put the board together? And I mean, this to me feels like that rich kid whose dad buys the baseball team so that he can score a home run. You pay off the other team so that they don't, field the ground ball and then the kid just grounds around the bases. Like, what is this? This is what, I mean, I'm all for the arts. But like, what has Trump ever done artistic in his life? Has he written a song? I mean, like seriously? Yeah, sure. He's built a couple buildings. They're kind of gaudy, but like, what has he done? He doesn't have good style. He looks right out of like a filing's basement with the, Trump ties made in China. I just don't get it.
I think we're going to make it hot. We made the presidency hot, so this should be easy. And it's just really, it's great to have, I've just gone through all the names. It's great to have all of you with us. We're going to add a few more to get up to the, whatever the number is that we're supposed to be up to. But it's going to be really exciting, really fun. I think you're going to enjoy yourselves, and you're going to have a lot of good nights also. Nights and days watching performances of great artists.
There's going to be great artists. The first person performing at the Kennedy Center, Kid Rock. We got Kid Rock. He's performing. After that, we go, what the hell is going on? Carrie Underwood doesn't want to perform. All right. Well, those are your updates, folks. What can I tell you? That's what we have today. I give you everything I have. I'm giving you it all. You can like it or not like it, but I'm just trying to be fair. But being fair doesn't mean letting people rob your parents and your grandparents blind. And I feel like we are in a scenario right now where a lot of the wealth in our country, which was already trending upwards, is shooting into the pockets of the billionaires. So I am not here for the billionaires and millionaires who made money on Trump coin. I'm here for you. Those that might have lost money, those that might lose their SNAP benefits, those that might lose the Medicare or maybe even Social Security. You know, policies and plans that are there to protect us, which would be unthinkable to strip away. We're watching it happen in front of our eyes. Is that fear baiting? I don't believe so. I'm not afraid per se. I'm more shocked and in awe that those that oppose this aren't speaking up. We'll be here as long as they let us. I don't know. We'll have to see if Trump can get a hold of the board of directors here at Rush Hour Podcast. It's anybody can be bought. All right, $10 million. Come and get it. All right, that's it for me. We'll be back in the morning. As always, I'm Dave Neal, and this is The Rush.